Welcome to Deliciously Motivated Mindset, hosted by Deborah and Moira. This podcast is designed to help listeners unlock their full potential, both personally and professionally, so they can thrive, not just survive. Deborah and Moira explore how natural tendencies don't always serve individuals and provide insights on how to harness existing strengths. Their goal is to equip listeners with the habits, mindset shifts, and strategies needed for lasting, meaningful change. Finding purpose and fulfillment can be challenging, but this podcast offers expert conversations, practical advice, and valuable tools to help align with a true sense of purpose and create a more fulfilling life. So grab a notebook, open your notes app, and get ready to take in some game-changing insights. Let's dive in.
Welcome, dear listeners. Welcome, dear Deb.
Mm-mm.
Here we
I mean,
are.
hello.
Hello. Here we are with another one of our Deliciously Motivated Mindset podcast conversations. And I'm really looking forward to today's conversation. Well, I always look forward to the conversations. But we're going to be talking. We always
do
say
that each time we
Yeah.
go, oh, today's a goodie, because it is.
Goodie.
But this is a different goodie than last week's goodie.
Yeah, we've been going into different flavors of late, haven't we? But we're going to talk about how to return to calm without losing yourself. And Deb just kind of unpacked that title just for a wee moment before we even hit record. That basically it's reminding you that calmness doesn't leave. It's how to return. It's still there. So it's about really allowing yourself to drop into that. And I don't know about you, but one of the best ways to drop into that to start our conversation is come into some heart coherence. So I've already got my hand over my heart. I encourage you to put one or both hands over your heart. Maybe one hand on your belly if that feels good. Take a nice deep breath in and breathe out through your mouth. Allowing yourself to just really land here.
To return to calm.
To return to calm. Actually remember to calibrate. Here it is. If you're sitting in a chair with a back on it, I encourage you to just gently lean back. I've been doing this so much of late. I really find this support from the front of my heart space with my hand, and then remind myself that I'm supported behind also. There's such a beautiful, calming, nurturing experience with that. I'd love to hear from our listeners how that feels, to just gently bring that awareness that you're supported front and back of your body. Take a nice deep breath. Feel your feet on the floor or on the ground, intending that you're connecting to the earth. And as you take another deep breath, feeling the support in front of your body and behind your body, allowing your energy to connect with my energy, with Deb's energy, and with all the energies of those listening to the recording, no matter where or when. Take a nice deep breath. And maybe even set a wee intention for yourself. Set an intention that one or maybe many of the tips or ideas will land to you for you to remind you that you can always return to calm. Just by doing something as simple as placing your hand on your heart and tuning back into this frequency. It's actually always here. We just need reminders and techniques to do so, right?
We do. We need reminders.
Yeah.
we do. It's super helpful. It's super helpful.
So we encourage you to grab your note-taking device to record some of your reminders about how to return to calm without losing yourself. So we kind of have referenced that that's the first tip, right? The heart coherence. Clearly. Obviously.
Yeah.
But I wanted to feel like we kind of unpack this idea that calm is always there. We just need strategies and techniques to remind ourselves. But what would you say, how would you speak to this idea of losing yourself? What would that look like, do you think?
Well, when you feel you're losing it, losing yourself could be anything from the doing things for others,
Mm-hmm.
doing things for others, not putting yourself first, saying yes, um, and just getting burnt out, overwhelmed, exhausted, heavy
Yeah.
would be that, when and we do lose ourselves, and you can be having an amazing day, and then suddenly one person can say one thing and your whole day just gets thrown out.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to, but someone can go, "You did it that way. Why'd you do it that way?" Or, "Oh, I wouldn't have thought you would have done it." Or, "Oh, I expected this to happen from you." Just those little a
Little,
cobra bite.
the little
The little cobra
zaps.
comes up and
Yeah.
bites and then goes back down, which I'm known for. Whoops.
Oops. Yes.
Yeah, or that cobra comes out, and then you just like, oh, and then you start taking it personally.
Right.
Because we're gonna talk about the 4 agreements at some stage in the podcast.
Yep.
But and any of those things, and then you just when you get into that, it's not fight or flight, it's actually freeze. You
Yeah.
get to that point, I just can't even fight for this. I can't even, fight or flight. I can't even do anything. I just freeze. And I
Yeah.
think we forget about the fight, flight, or freeze. And it is I
Or freak
just
out.
can't do
There's
anything.
Fight,
Oh yeah, freak
fight,
out.
flight, or freak out.
Yeah, freak out, freak out. There's a lot of F words. There's a lot of F
There
words.
is a lot of F words. Do you know?
And
Sorry.
that would be the losing myself. That would be the whole whoa. I can't even function. Oh, F, there's another one. I can't even function.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
But the thing that came to my mind as you were saying, I completely agree with you. It's that losing ourselves, doing things for others, allowing ourselves to be drawn into somebody else's story, or maybe we're looking for approval from others. And so therefore we're doing things in a certain way to get that approval. But what came to my mind as you were kind of going into that is boundaries. I know you don't like that word so much.
Oh, yeah. It's shifted. It's not as bad as what I think. I don't
I
have a
know.
physical reaction all the way.
But don't you agree is that boundaries that might be a certain just a take an inspiration to pause for a moment and put your hands on your heart and say, does saying yes to that, do I maintain my calmness, my sense of ease and flow? And boundaries might say, I don't have the bandwidth for it right now, or I'll circle back, or whatever it is, for you to just press pause for a moment and say, it just doesn't work for me right now, right?
And knowing that boundaries, oh, there's a big yawn that came in. Excuse me. Thank you, everybody. Knowing that boundaries are movable.
Yes.
I think what we forget is, no, I can't do that. And then they're never going to ask you again or anything like that. But, an hour later, you might be able to do that task. And then you can tell them, say, hey, I can still help you with that task if you want. My task finished earlier. And I think, well, for me, when I think boundaries, I go, oh, no, actually, I don't as much now. Back in the day, it was like, no, can't do that. That's it.
Really, really
or
rigid.
whatever. And it's rigid.
That's black it's black and white thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, black and white thinking. I think so. It's being open to, okay, this doesn't work for me right now, but maybe it can later. Go find somebody, but actually not just saying, I'll do it later, because all people hear is, oh, it's not going to happen at 3 o'clock, but it's going to happen at 5 o'clock. Great. I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
But if you just say to them, if you can find someone else, that would be great. Or, instead of actually just parking your schedule because it doesn't work right now at 3 o'clock, but it can work at 5 o'clock, actually just suggesting that they can go find somebody else.
Yeah.
But when you find someone else, you've got to make sure they have to find someone who's more inspired about the task. I have that whole problem with that. But boundaries are movable. And I think, well, anything in life is movable.
Everything's movable. And everything's in flow, right? We have our ups and our downs. We have the peaks and the valleys. And it's about being very open to
flexible.
Flexible for sure. But the other thing that was coming to my mind when you were saying that is that to remember that no doesn't mean never. If I say no to you, it doesn't mean don't ever ask me that again, right? It just means for right now. And that's why I'm saying another tip that's so, so important is to give yourself permission to really, underline really check in with all of you. And maybe this is time to talk about a PEMS check-in. Checking in
Yes.
with your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, your 4 pillars. Because if you got your mind running a marathon and you're feeling, a wee bit nerve jangling, but physically you feel like I've got the stamina, and somebody asked you and say, okay, I can do it because I've got the stamina. But if your emotions and your mental faculties are just out of whack, you're going to take yourself down, right? Because it's not going to work. It's not sustainable. So that's why I'm saying having a way for you, and that's what I'm doing when I put my hand on my heart, is I'm
Mm.
pausing and just going in, saying, how's my body? How do I feel emotionally? What's pressing on am I feeling agitated or worried or upset or
Did I sleep? Did
did
I
I
sleep
sleep?
last night?
Absolutely. And what
You
what
know,
else have I
yeah.
said yes? Because sometimes we say yes to things and we set them up that they are going to happen. I gave my
Mm.
word and this is going to happen. If I have a client session, I'm not going to kind of come to 4 o'clock and go, I'm just not feeling it. It's like,
Yeah.
no, I said I'm going to be there for that client and I will. Right.
Yeah.
But if somebody asks for something in, the run up to that, I have to be very clear on I need bandwidth to address that and stay calm with that obligation or that piece that I've said that's a done deal, it's happening. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And that just makes me think about other people's opinions.
Yeah. None of
You
your
know,
business.
yeah. Oh, Deborah's let me down for that, or any of that stuff. But worrying about what other people think, worrying about what other people think. Protect your energy. I don't even know. Yeah, protect your energy. Protect your energy.
Yeah.
It's you who has to get through. If other people throw their tenties or you feel obligated, you have to choose what's best for you at that time. Okay, if I'm feeling obligated to do it because my parents told me to do it,
Mhm.
then I'm going to do it. But actually, I don't want to do it, so it's got nothing to do with my parents. Actually, I'm not going to do it. It just doesn't feel right for you. You don't ever want to go against your core integrity.
Right.
I was to say your morals and ethics, what you believe, and we do often put others ahead of us.
Mm.
We say put your own oxygen mask on first,
Yeah.
drink from your own cup, do all these things because if you can't do that, if you don't fill your cup up, how are you going to fill other people's cup up
Yeah.
from a burnt out place? They're
Yes, you
just
can't
those
pour
little.
from an empty cup.
That's right. That's right. And you can fill your cup up at any time, which Moira showed me.
Yes, you can. You can.
Yeah, and that's that is my cup. Just so you know, listeners, that's is my cup half full or half empty,
It doesn't matter.
and it does no, just refill it.
Yep.
Who cares if you're worrying about if it's half full and half empty? You already know the answer. Just fill the cup. Oh, nearly came a swear word out then. The flippin' was what I was going to say. Yeah,
fill the cup
fill
up.
the flippin' cup up. Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's the one.
This is reminding me of a conversation I had with a client just recently because she's going along doing things because they are going to get upset if I don't do this, or they're going to get overburdened or overwhelmed, and so I said to her, would you ever want to have somebody do something for you out of
Oh,
pure
you
obligation?
threw that one out, did you?
I did. I did. And she sat for a moment and went, oh my God, no. I said, so
Yeah.
why are you doing that disservice for these other people? Because sometimes, and this is what I was saying to her, is that sometimes if we get caught up in this narrative of I better show
Yes.
up and do this because, I'm dropping the ball or I'm letting them down, but I don't really want to do it and it really sucks the soul out of me and blah, blah, blah. What I was helping her realize is that there might be the ideal person to do that task or that role. And she's blocking them from it because she's going, well, I better do it.
Yeah,
right?
woe is me. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's this sort of misaligned sense of obligation, but it's an outmoded narrative.
Mm.
So it's kind of like getting into assumptions and yeah, I know how this is, I know how that person thinks. Well, actually, maybe I don't, right?
Yeah, I think, yeah, when I go back to this, I go, if they're going to hold you ransom to you saying no, they're not your people.
Yeah.
And 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 it saddens me, if I was to say, it saddens me to see people who stay in, well, they stay in relationships, intimate relationships,
Mm-hmm.
but really they want out.
Yeah.
Or they're even talking to their family and they don't like that. Like, we think, I had a bit of a discussion with mum actually yesterday, you think you have to be there for your family. Well, you don't. If you don't like your family, which mum was a very interesting conversation as we sat in the car for 5 minutes. And I said, well, you don't have to be friends with your family. And mum was like, I beg your pardon. You
Oh.
get to love all your family. And I said, yeah, no, mum, I love my family, but I'm actually very blessed for my family that there's nobody in my family I don't want to spend time with.
Mhm.
So that's our cousins and everything. So I'm incredibly
Good.
fortunate.
That's good.
But that's not common. That is not
No, it's
common.
not.
No, because I hear I know, but
Yeah.
I could say I could hang out, I could go and move into all my family members' house for a week and live there. Like, I could get along with them.
I'm impressed because
Yeah.
I couldn't.
No. Well, my sister's the complete opposite to me, complete opposite. But I would still like, but it was interesting because I said, no, you don't have to be there for family. And mum's like, I beg your pardon, you do. But my mum's, you know, sorry, not sorry, mum. She's in her 70s. But she's old fashioned, but she's not old fashioned. She's definitely with the time.
Mhm.
But it was an interesting conversation to have. What generation is? No, you need to be there for your family.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Deborah, you need to. And I'm like, no, you don't. You don't, mum. If you don't like your family members, why would you want to go in that environment?
Right.
And she's like, because you have to. And I was like, no, you don't. I think we agreed to disagree in the end, actually, when I go, what was the conclusion? But it definitely opened my mind to a different way of thinking from that era.
And
And
it is a generational thing. I was listening to a podcast just the other day that we were talking just about that, about
mm,
we'll stay together for the kids.
I've
But they're
heard that
really
one. Oh my gosh.
stuck. Yeah, I've heard that from other people too.
The
It's
kids
like,
the kids don't know. And I'm like, mate, you're
yeah,
teaching your girls that's how you want to be
yes.
treated from a man. Are you teaching your girls to stay in a relationship just to make everyone else happy? Like,
Just because
no.
you have
Your
to or you should. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
your children are definitely not, if anything, staying in that relationship. But yeah, that's one of my pet hates. I could feel myself go there. But that's one of my things is don't stay in it.
Yeah.
You,
So
yeah.
actually, this is actually a really interesting piece because what I was listening to was all about power cycles. And what it was
Oh,
talking about was that we all go through everything cyclical, everything in this
mhm.
planet, whether it's how we
What did
think of
you
our
say? Use the word cyclical.
yeah,
Cyclical. What is that word?
cyclical.
Never
It
heard that.
means in cycles. It means
Oh, okay.
everything has a cycle.
Oh, I was like, what the
Reasons
hell?
for
I
life.
was going to have to Google that word. I was like, cyclical. What's that? Okay.
It's it's
Okay.
it's it's
That
it's
explains it. I understand now. Yeah.
meaning good.
Good.
So basically, but each one of us has our own way of feeling that cycle,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
And so that's what our own evolution is. Where are you on your own cycle? For some,
Mm,
they might be at the top and it's like, yeah, this is great. It's going really beautifully. I'm successful. I'm have the great experience. But what I was being presented with this topic is as we come out of that cycle, we start to get into, and he was talking about the terrible twos for
oh, yeah.
they just get no, 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 and he was kind of
Yeah.
saying, but we all go through that, and that's actually part of our cycle, is when
Yeah.
we go, this is great, this is the best situation, best environment, but then we start to maybe fall out of resonance with it. There's
Mm,
nothing wrong
mhm.
here. It's just that's part of the cycle. And so when
Yeah.
we can have more of a interested observer or a wee bit of
Mhm.
curiosity in, look at this. This is a cycle. We all have
Oh, that makes
creative
sense.
cycles.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all
Yeah.
have creative cycles too, where we were talking about boundaries and bandwidth, and you might be in a season of, yeah, I'm going to knock this project out, I'm going to take care of this, I'm going to make this, I'm going to write a book, I'm going to cook up a storm in the kitchen. And then other times it's like, I can't even get off the couch.
Yeah,
Again,
well,
where are you in the cycle? And own it. Be comfortable. That actually in itself would get you to return to calm, because you would then go, huh, who
oh,
knew?
that makes
This
sense.
is where I
Well,
am in the cycle. Yeah.
and that's the same for your PEMs as well. It's like, oh, well, no
Yes.
wonder, because I've got this, and this going on. No wonder I'm reactive when someone goes, "You're running late."
Yeah. Yeah.
But even when you were saying that, I kept thinking, and I don't understand it as much. Human design.
Mm.
You're a human design genius. But even, when you talked about that cycle, the human design, I
Yep.
think that's a great reminder, if we're looking to return to calm without losing yourself, is remembering you are different.
That's right. Yep.
Moira and I are here giving our tips, but we're different people.
We are different people.
We,
We have
we,
different ways of using our own life force energy. We're wired
yeah, and I,
differently.
and I think remembering that, oh, actually, I just remembered, that's funny, last week in my group, we talked about the differences and the similarities between people, because we were talking about comparisons.
Mm.
And I said to the group, I said, I want you to find somebody who you admire. Find someone who you admire. And then I want you to go, what do you do that's similar to them?
Hmm.
But then also look at what do you do that's different to them, that gives you, what's your unique genius type thing. So it's looking at Moira and I, and I'm going, we're similar. Our similarities are we're on the same wavelength of wanting to help people, serve with people.
Out of the box
We,
problem solvers.
yeah,
We've
yeah,
got that in
and
common. Yeah.
absolutely. But our differences are you have a different tone than me.
Mhm.
I sometimes go a lot harder on my words or my
Well, you
stiletto
used to
kick.
stiletto kick in the back.
Yeah, that's it.
That's,
Get moving.
yeah.
Um,
Nobody
but
would
but
ever feel that from me.
no, no. But so that it was a beautiful unpacking in our group, because we went, oh, what are those things that I admire in them? I do them similar, but I
Yes.
also have this unique genius or that difference. And I think remembering, that when we're looking to return to calm without losing ourselves, there's multiple aspects from that. Is don't compare yourself to others, how they get through things,
Yeah.
but also just go back to that. Watch your energy, protect your energy. No, that makes sense that I've still got that. And I've just remember. So if you would love a human design, I'm going to promote human design. I'm going to say it this way. If you want to know more about human design, book a call with Moira.
Book a
Don't
call
Google
with
it.
me.
Don't
Yeah.
just book a call with Moira, because she will hold your hand, guide you through, and she
I
won't
weave in
stiletto
a
kick
lot of
you.
other components to human design too,
Yeah,
with my soul blueprint reading. Yeah.
that's right. And when you come out with that, holy gamoly, that makes you go, oh, no
No
wonder I do it
wonder.
that way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
but and then you have to read it again. You have to read this blueprint again and again and again. And then you're like, okay, now I've got it. Now I've
Yep.
got it. But I encourage everyone to do that. That soul blueprint is phenomenal, because
Mhm.
it just makes you go, now I know why I get up at that time. Now I know
Yeah.
why I treat my parents like this. Now I know why, I do this in my
Now I
everyday
know
life.
that's why I need this amount of sleep.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And then I also encourage you to do those ones around you as well, so you can understand them, because that's really helpful.
It
That's really
is.
helpful.
Well, it
That's really
helps us relate to one another when we
mm,
know how we're wired,
differences,
right?
similarities again. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm. And
and
in fact, in our last episode, we talked about comparing. That's when we talked about comparing, and that's when I
oh
was kind of chuckling to myself, because that one is such a sneaky one. We talked about that in our last episode
yeah, it just
about,
comes from
yeah, it can
nowhere.
sneak in
Listen,
without you
listen
even
to me, it
going,
just
oh
comes from
wait,
nowhere.
oh wait,
Yeah,
I'm saying I can or cannot do this because I've actually allowed this narrative to still be running the show, because sometimes
yeah,
it's running underneath the surface, and that's actually part of that returning to calm without losing yourself. Is
mm,
sometimes it's really important to just tune into what is the story you're telling to yourself about yourself. Are you
mm,
limiting yourself? Are you keeping yourself stuck to an outmoded pattern that isn't true anymore.
Well, what is your story? And then gather the evidence that it
Yes.
is just a story, Yeah. I think, yeah. Even just what is your story? Yeah, my head is racing with a gazillion things right now. But I will say you have to get certain on what you want, so you need to know what matters to you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just you,
because
for you.
yeah,
Yeah.
just you. Because if you don't know what you want, other people aren't going to help you get there. And also the universe isn't going to help you because it has no
Well,
idea.
it's
So
confused, doesn't know what to
yeah,
give
it's
you.
like, yeah, yeah. So get certain and clear about what you want, what you desire, what do you want your life to look like. Um, what are those priorities I want to do during the day? Like all of those things. What do I want? I want to wake up feeling not heavy. Okay. Okay, I want to wake up feeling light. I want to wake up feeling like I'm ready for my day. I want to, so even just think about those things and go, just for today, just for today, I'm going to wake up feeling refreshed. And if you tell yourself that, you will,
Mhm.
but not, and I think, yeah, what do you want? Because if you don't know what you want, no one else is going to be able to fill the gap and you're just going to keep floundering. If I could,
But you
yeah.
can, I think it's really important to remember that you can have like a broad, big picture. So you can,
Oh,
it doesn't have to be, oh, I have to do all of these things, or I want all
yeah.
of these things. It's like, well, no, maybe I just want to be happy or feel
Yeah.
at ease or in flow. Something that I've encouraged people to do before is, you've heard me talk before about reframing why questions into what questions.
Mm,
And
yeah.
so instead of saying, why do I always feel like I'm depleted before I even start my
Why
day,
me? Yeah.
is to pause before you jump out of bed. You wake up, put your hands on your heart, take a nice deep breath, and say something like, what will it take to have an extraordinary day today? Or what will it take to have a
Mm.
magnificent day? What will it take to feel happy and calm and at ease? And just then step in. This is
That
not these
changes
what
so
questions.
much.
I know. These what
Yeah.
questions though, they it's almost like they're tuning the dials of your receptors of your
Mm.
subconscious mind, and it will help you navigate. Oh, there's something that will help create that or experience that. And oh, there's something that might throw that off. So I'm gonna move away from it, right?
Yeah, but the why into what just takes so I learned a new word. You know how I used to go Tony Robbins change your
Yeah,
state.
yeah, yeah.
So I was telling someone, she goes, "Oh, that's a pattern interrupt."
Oh, it is. Yes.
And I went, "Oh, I way prefer that than having to reference Tony Robbins each time." And literally, when I say it, my arm punches the air. So I'm all for that. So now I don't have to punch the air and talk to Tony Robbins and just say it's a pattern interrupt. And I love that. So the why into what is a pattern interrupt. It's
You're
just taking you out of the chaos. What are
you're
you
funny
laughing at me?
because I said that so many times to you, pattern interrupt. Because as a
Have you?
hypnotherapist, yep, as a hypnotherapist, that's what I'm doing. And I
See,
know
yeah.
we've talked about it before. It's like, yep, that's a pattern interrupt.
Well, when someone said it the other day, I went, "Oh, that makes so much sense." Oh my
Well,
God,
good.
that's
I'm
the
glad it
echo.
landed.
So I think that's the other thing is how to return to calm without losing yourself. You may not hear the first
Yeah,
message
yeah.
the first time, or the second, or the 35th, or the 180th time. But when I heard it, it landed. That's even funnier.
I
Man,
love that it landed. But this
it
makes me
landed.
giggle too, because this is about just being curious, just being, because in fact,
The timing was right.
before we hit record, we were talking about something that you've just come through that was told to you, but you did not hear until
Yeah.
after the fact, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
I,
oh,
I
I
thought I
didn't, I
gathered
didn't
all
hear
the
that.
information. I thought I wrote everything down. I came off the call and I had so much clarity. And I even said to my partner, "Wow, I've got every single thing he said. It's
Yeah,
landed.
yeah.
Wow, it's okay." And then
And then it
and then
wasn't.
something happened a few days later, and I said to her, "This happened," and she went, "He said that on the phone." I went, "What? What? No, no, he didn't. No." And she's like, "Yeah." And the two things that I had problems with was she's like, "No, he said that." I was like, "Oh." I didn't hear that. But yeah, so pattern
That's what,
interrupters. But when you're
but
ready,
that's
you
what I'm
hear it.
saying. It is. And that in itself helps us return to calm, because sometimes in that pattern, like we were just talking about the suddenly hearing something that was already said to you, we can lose ourselves because we then start getting really critical and saying, what's wrong with me? How come I didn't hear it from that
Oh,
person?
see,
Why didn't I get that?
I
Right?
turned that quick into humor. I just
Yes,
literally went,
that's
"Oh
why
my God, that makes
it's
yeah."
important
And
to do so, but
yeah,
not
well,
everybody does.
oh yeah, definitely. I wasn't. Yeah, at the time I was peeved off, but then when I found out, no, he said that, I was like, what? When? What? Huh? And then I went, oh my God, that's interesting. Giggle, giggle, giggle. But it
Right.
is definitely that would take your scale of 1 out of 10 to from calm to 10 out of 10 crazy.
Yeah.
But it does like give yourself. You're human in this
Yeah.
human world, having a human experience. You're going to have emotion, and Maura and I are incredibly strong with our emotion
Mm-hmm.
and know how to hold it together and have a gazillion techniques
Mm-hmm.
and each other's back on all of those things, but we still fall over and graze ourselves
Yes.
because we're
Because like you
human.
said, we're human. We're having this experience. It's like that's the thing that I think is so important, is that we can set intentions and go into flow, but we don't have to have everything figured out.
You're listening to Deliciously Motivated Mindset with Deborah and Moira, here to help listeners unlock their full potential so they can thrive, not just survive. They've shared some very powerful insights so far, so it's time to take a moment to breathe, reflect, and jot down any key takeaways. What's one piece of advice that stands out to apply right away? Before wrapping up, Deborah and Moira would love to hear from everyone. Reach out with thoughts, questions, or feedback, and drop your favorite tip from today's episode. They're inspired to see how listeners are putting these insights into practice. Let's dive back in and finish strong.
Oh,
It,
sorry, did you say that to me before the recording of the call, Moira, that gave me a tear? I think
that's
you
right.
just dropped another. Just by the
That's
way,
right.
I heard that earlier. Just for the record, I heard that. And she's dropping it in again. I heard that.
I good that you got that. See? Returning to calm.
But you're right. I think that, you don't have to control everything.
Yeah, that's it.
Mm,
Ultimately, it's a higher version of us that's got
mm,
this. Sometimes that means we just have to
mm,
surrender that this 3D thinking part of me doesn't get it, doesn't see the next step. But it wouldn't be happening if I couldn't come through it, or it wasn't all going to unpack and go in the right way. And so
mm.
therefore, that's why I'm talking about surrender. And I've got my hand wide open here. It's
Yeah,
just like
wide. Yeah.
surrender, because it's flowing through me.
Yeah.
It's not happening against me, right?
Mm. And I know at the very start we talked about gathering evidence
Mm.
somewhere along the lines. I look at my notes.
Yeah, we did.
But gather that evidence. Remind yourself that there is a calm. But don't get excited when the calm happens, and don't get excited when you know
Yeah.
when it's calm, or oh no, the chaos is coming. The chaos is coming. You know, just know that there's chaos. There's always calm and chaos side by
Always.
side.
That's when we're talking
And
about the cycles, right?
that's right.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
reminds me of a Winston Churchill quote. He said, if you're going through hell, keep going, right?
Yeah.
If you're going
Yeah.
through hell, keep going. That's that, the eye of the storm. Or if you're going through
Mm,
being whipped around, keep going and come into the center where that's where
yeah.
calmness is, right?
Yeah. If you're going to, yeah. Wow. Hmm. Could have done with half of these little things yesterday.
Well, good we're having a
Probably, probably,
conversation today.
probably. Mum was thinking the same too in the trip when I told her that you don't have to be friends with your you don't have to
Oh,
be friends with your family. Mum's the matriarch of the family. Like she's there's four sisters, so she I definitely put her out.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if it's going to be the end of the conversation, which is fine. I'll definitely go back to it. Because I did hear her, and I went, oh, this is a generational thing. It was interesting.
Yeah.
But I think we ourselves, I'm just gonna say, you are the boss of you.
Yep. You are the boss of you. And that's such an important one too, is that when you own that idea of you are the boss of you, it's important to then allow everybody else to have their own opinion and allow everybody else to be the boss of them. We are not going to get on with everybody. We are not going to be accepted or liked or even seen by everybody in our circles. That's okay. What's required of each one of us is to maintain our flow, our access to grace and ease in our best way. And not get lost, right? We get lost when we compare ourselves to others, or we get caught up in somebody else's story or somebody else's labeling of us or somebody else's projection, right?
Yeah.
Saying, oh, you should be doing it this way. Like, I'll get back to
I
you.
know. Yeah. I think when there's so many strategies we've given you here, and just you take one. Just take one if you need to. If that's what it feels like, just take one and see where that sits, and then do another, whatever that is. But I think when I was thinking about it, I started to go, when chaos hits and something's happened, and I'm feeling like they've done this, da, 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 just even visualize yourself that so you're watching it, you're watching the show reel, you're watching the issue going on. Look at it and go, okay, what could I do so really unpack it. I'm watching the 5-minute scenario with my mum in the car. It wasn't 5 minutes, by the way, it was on and off for some time, but I'm watching it. What could I have done differently that would make me feel loved? And what would I do differently that would make mum feel loved? Everyone wants to be seen, heard, acknowledged. So really look at it like you're, I don't know, a ghost over the actual event, like you're watching it.
Yeah, that's the observer and the observed, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moira's good words again. But and look and go, what is it? And actually then just have the confidence to unpack and go, okay, what worked? What didn't? What would I do differently? Because these are the moments, when even though the thought of doing that may make you go, oh, that's too hard. When you start, that's going to make you calm because you're pattern interrupting. We're going to have to create a new word for that, actually. But you're changing the thought and the spiral of where you're into, it's like the why to the what. You're actually going, oh, what could I do differently?
Right.
It is that whole thing again. Is, okay, what would work that she felt loved? What would work that I felt loved? What would be an outcome that makes us both feel like we don't have to go back to that conversation? And that, when you're unpacking that, I feel calm because I'm going into a strategy brain.
Right.
Just even that alone makes me go, okay, this is for you to play around with. It didn't happen, but what could you do next time if it did happen? Really, really look at that. And that will give you the calm over the chaos.
But what I
without losing
heard
yourself.
in you when you were just describing that is that you were coming at that sort of contemplation or internal inquiry with compassion.
Curiosity.
Curiosity, but
curiosity
with
and
compassion. I heard compassion in there, because
Yeah.
Going back to what you said about the seen, heard, and acknowledged, there's compassion in there. When you kind of revisit a situation and go, how could I speak that in a different way so I felt heard, but allowed that person to feel heard also? There's loving kindness in here too, right? I think that's a really important attribute to put in there.
Yeah, you're right. Because because I don't just want it feeling filled in my heart. I want to make sure it feels filled in everyone else's heart. I don't want to come away from somebody who feels like, my God, Deborah's just stripped me of everything, and now I don't even know who I am. Like, I definitely don't want that. I want to land people with a beautifulness that they can feel comfortable talking to me about anything,
Right.
and they're seen, heard, acknowledged again.
Right. But then so when we come at that with compassion, not everybody's going to get it. Because
No.
you probably know people too. I know people that it actually does not matter how I dress something up or wrap something up or present it. It's never going to land the way it's coming from me, because that person is just maybe
They've got a confirmation bias of who you are.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so that's
And
when it's like, don't take it personally. But I've checked in with my heart space, and this is how I'm rolling. Right?
Yeah.
Being
That's the 4
authentic.
agreements. Don't take it personally.
Yeah.
And I think you're right, but if I'm going in with the intention to fill my mum's cup up, then I'm already not the boss of me. I'm already putting mum ahead of me.
Right.
But if I can go back and look at a conversation that I've had and unpack it with that curiosity,
Yes.
then I can put the compassion in there, and I can go, oh, that would make her feel different. Okay, I can see that. And that just gives me an awareness about my mother and my conversations with my mother, and how our human design is and how different we are.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then that's the,
yeah.
I see you, Mum. I honor you, Mum.
Yeah.
And not give your power away, because it's not going to be that, oh, now I have to be a certain way. It's like, no, I see her, but I see me, and I am the boss of me.
Yeah.
Right. So you're never going to say, Mom, in order for us to have a conversation, you have to get onto my train.
Yeah, no.
Nope.
Yeah. I've got to jump on mum's train, and it flies at 1,000 miles an hour, and I'm 500 miles an hour. Yeah. But it is that, you're right, it is that compassion. But if you're going into the conversation to fix somebody or anything,
it's done before you start.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you come with that intention, definitely. Because I'm going to fix this, I'm going to let her know. No, it's already doomed.
Nope.
That pattern interrupt is not a great one to be on.
That would be
Both
a
arms in the air.
cancel. That would be a cancel moment right there.
Yeah, that's it. Now, I know we've got to wrap up, but I just want to briefly mention the 4 agreements, because we did talk about them very, very, very briefly at the start. And then don't take things personally.
Yeah.
And I think remembering that, I'm going to have to ask Moira to do them, because I forget them. Moira,
so
what are the 4 agreements?
To be impeccable with your word, to not take things personally, to not make assumptions, and to always do your best. And then we like to say, just for today, I'm going to be impeccable with my word. Just for today, I'm not making any assumptions. Just for today, I'm not taking anything personally. And just for today, I'm doing my best. Just beautiful agreements to yourself, for yourself. And they're such simple little statements, but they're so empowering.
Yeah, absolutely. And adding on the just for today makes it go, oh, it's achievable.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have to be impeccable with my word all week. You do, by the way.
But it allows you to maintain that coming back to the calmness, because I've said those agreements to people, and oh my God, that's really hard. The one that people find really hard is the not taking things personally. Yeah.
That's the one they go,
Moira, do you know how hard that is?
No. Is that a story you're telling yourself? Where's the time when somebody said something you didn't take it personally? Let's just back that with evidence. But
that's
you're
true.
right.
I mean, I have struggled with that, and I'm sure you have too. It's like, that is human nature. We do want to be liked and accepted, but it's to give ourselves permission to go, oh, not my train. I don't need to be there. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but I can just watch that carriage shuttle past my station, because I ain't getting on that one.
Exactly.
I ain't getting on that one.
Yep.
Listeners, we can talk about this for hours. We could definitely, I think I pretty much say that. I know I think about that at the end. I'm like, if you want us to carry on and do a 2-part, you have to tell us, people, because
yes, we need to know.
It's your responsibility, people, to tell us. But how to return to calm without losing yourself is our podcast that we're talking about. So grab that note-taking device. We're going to condense our conversation into bullet points, I just laugh. I'm starting because I don't even know what happened between tips 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 7. So I'm just going to go. Number 1 was the beautiful heart coherent that Moira started the call with.
Mm.
And I think last week I was like, that's a good idea. We can go back and record it, go back and listen to it. And you're like,
That's
Deborah, you
so
say that
good.
each time. It's like, oh, I forgot about that. I think
Yeah.
my brain just goes, things just fly out. They fly out one ear, not the other. But go back to that, listen to that, hand on heart, breathe, get present, feel your body,
Yeah.
feel the air around you, feel your skin. Just
lean back in your chair.
That's it. Lean back in your chair, because we're both actually leaning back in our chair.
Yeah.
But that just, even, we talk about just for today, even just that
Yeah.
is returning to calm without losing yourself. And don't put a timer on it.
Mm.
Like I'm just going to add another part. Don't put a timer and go, okay, for 2 minutes, I'm going to lean back in my chair with my hand on my heart. No, I'm going to lean back in my chair and put my hand on my heart until it feels right to move.
Exactly. And come back and do it throughout your day.
Yeah,
Throughout your day.
often.
Keep coming back to that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Now you can pick up tips 2 to 7 or something like that, I think it is. But yeah.
Well, from there we talked about what losing yourself would look like. And that's when you were saying
That's
about
right.
doing things for others. And I was talking about looking for approval, because that can create the disturbance in our own vortex, right? So from there, we then started talking about boundaries.
I've got boundaries written down.
Oh, look at you. So I like what you said about boundaries, though, is that, and is when I said that about you used to think boundaries were too rigid, too black and white, and too like, if I said no, that's it. But they're so movable, but they're about really helping you create your best rhythm and structure to say, wait, I need to come in and check in with me. One thing that we haven't talked for a few episodes about, and this could actually help this boundaries thing, is those 3 questions. Is this good for me? Yes or no? Is this good for them? Yes or no? Do I want to? Yes or no? And so all 3 of those have to be a hell yes. If they're not, then the boundary says it's not for me, or just not for now, right? Because you can come back and check those questions another time, not in 10 minutes. Another time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love those 3 questions. See, there was a reason why Moira was reading those tips. But I also wrote down, no doesn't mean never.
Yes.
And I think even though that is part of this boundaries, it's just a reminder again that, Moira talked about boundaries and everything's movable, but no doesn't mean never. It just means no, not right now.
Yep.
And remembering yourself during that
Absolutely.
process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because this is the part too that can kind of make us go into the wobble, is that we get too caught up on what other people's opinions are of us. This reminder says you got to put your oxygen mask on first, that you cannot pour from an empty cup, that all forms of sacred self-care is in order to make you of best service, of best support, of best whatever it is you're doing. But you are nurturing and maintaining that level of calmness within yourself without saying, oh, I'll do this first and then self-care at the end of the It doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
Right?
doesn't work that way.
Nope.
Listeners, it doesn't work that way. I've got give permission to check in if it's really you. And I guess that goes back to the no. If you're saying no, and then, no, this doesn't work for me right now, but actually give yourself permission to go, is this really for me? Or is it out of the old, other thing, obligation and the rest of it? Oh, we've got obligation further down. Yeah.
Oh, I thought
But
that's
check
where
in if
you
it's
were.
really you. Oh, no, I haven't got that far. I've got PEMS, watch others' energy, and then go, okay, so I'll do these ones to get up to obligation, shall I?
Okay, yes. Yes, you
I've
do
got
that.
your PEMS, but we're going to talk about that one. No, we did the PEMS. We did the PEMS at the end, didn't we?
No, we're
Somewhere.
here. PEMS were
here.
right after boundaries, actually.
Oh.
And then
Okay,
we
wow.
talked about obligations. Is you don't have, it's like giving yourself permission to feel into your own. I know we talk about reframing why questions into what, but I'm going to use why here, but in the the
A
definition
different
of your
why.
purpose, right?
Yeah.
So if you're doing something because, and what is your why of doing it? It's because I
Mm.
love to do it. I choose to do this. I'm feeling called to do this, as opposed to I'm doing this because I have to or I should,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes. And yes. Watch other people's energy
Mhm.
and protect yourself. Just be aware of other people's moods, energy. If you're feeling fragile, you're going to react differently. So just watch other people's energy as well.
Yeah,
Um, in that
yeah.
to keep your energy yours, because again, you've got to fill your own cup up first.
That actually kind of relates to boundaries too, doesn't it? Is that you don't
Mm,
allow people into your energy bubble if you're feeling really delicate or tender
yeah,
heart or
yeah,
dealing with something on your own. It's like, no, you have the right to create the space or the protection or the calmness or the soothing, whatever that feels like for you,
yeah.
right?
Back
From
to
here,
us.
I talked about the that was cute. Deb questioning what is cyclical.
Yeah,
Talking
cyclical. When she started talking, I thought I'm going to have to spell that into my dictionary to look like I'm intelligent. Then I went, just interrupt, Moira. Just interrupt her and just ask what it was. Yeah.
So that's when I was talking about listening to this presentation about power cycle, that we all experience them. Collectively, we have them. Um, but individually we have them, and it's by knowing our how we are wired, our human design, our astrology, our tarot life path, our numerology. That's actually what all the components I weave together when I do a soul blueprint. But that helps us see where is our creative cycle and how are we wired to do these
Mm,
things. Because when we really realize that cyclical nature, we're going to be on the high and it's going to be everything's going beautifully, everything's coming together. But then we're going to have the no's as well. We're going to have the
mm-hmm.
this sucks, I don't like this, I prefer not to be here. But we but we
Insert
just
evil
keep
laugh here. I can
moving
hear
through it.
myself laughing, but yeah, it's so true. It is. It is.
Yeah,
It is. Yes. I
yeah,
encourage everyone to get a human design blueprint. Actually, it's not just a human design; it's an everything design,
it is.
because you can see the beauty in this makes sense,
Yeah,
and it's not. It just goes, oh well, that's why I do it that way. Ah, that's why my children do it this way.
yeah,
This
yeah,
makes sense. Instead of going, my children are little shites because they go left and I go right. No, they're not little shites. They're their own individuals. Let me explain why they go left.
yeah,
That,
exactly.
and
That
that's what Moira does. That would be it. Yeah.
exactly. Part of the verbiage that I have to set up that report is, or the session actually is, it's not a prescription, it's a permission slip.
Oh,
I'm not telling you
that's
how to
ex-
be, I'm giving you permission to be who you are.
I love that.
Yeah, so
Mm.
important. And that helps you return to calm right there.
Just that. Just go, oh, well, that makes sense. Because I
Yeah,
know when you did my very first reading way back, way back, I
yeah,
went,
that's many years ago
oh,
now.
and then I
Yeah,
think then I got you to do my partners, and it was like,
yeah, yeah.
no wonder we clash on this, and no wonder we get along on this.
Exactly, exactly.
It just went, oh, and that instantly is that calm.
Yeah,
I didn't, and that how to return to calm without losing yourself. I didn't lose myself.
no,
And neither did she. It just went, oh well, this makes sense.
yep,
This now there's an understanding. So what do you call it? It's not a prescription. It's a
permission slip.
yeah,
Hmm.
permission slip to be the boss of you. Hmm.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
By the way, listeners, I did hear that. That one I did hear. Giggling at that. I didn't hear that. Yeah, giggling at that.
You're
Yeah.
cute.
Um, The next one I have is what is your story, and
Hmm.
gather the evidence.
Hmm.
Being aware of the stories that you tell yourself. Oh, this happens to me all the time. No, whenever I go to see this person, I come away from this, or this person always dumps their stuff on me. If you're an employee in an employer job, there's probably somebody at work you don't like. Oh, they always leave everything to the last minute, So just check in with that story.
Yeah,
Also check in where you have been calm and it's worked out, or you have been chaotic and it's worked out. Go back, and it's again just the same thing as what is your story, and then gather the evidence that can change that thought process.
And from there, the next tip you said was to get clear on what you want. And I put a few double underlines on that. What do you want? Because that's when we were talking about in our last episode about the sneakiness of comparing to others.
That's right.
So it's like, no, wait, is this because I heard it being told, or I'm carrying forward a story that my mom said or my dad said or my sibling said? No, what do you want? Get really clear on that.
Yeah. And certainty, as we know, certainty, comes from taking action and creating what we want.
Yeah.
The one I've got in here is the why into what. Change that why question to what is this teaching me? What is this showing me? What's the benefits I got out of this? What's the value it's been added to my life? And when you jump out of that state, that is definitely when you change that, you're going to go to the calm without losing yourself.
Yep. And then talking about state, instead of saying change your state, we say it's a pattern interrupt.
Pattern interrupt.
with a giggle.
Yeah, that's it, with a giggle. Yeah, make sure you're giggling through this calmness. Because by crikey, if you don't, you're going to go grey.
Well, it helps anchor it in more, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You're just like, oh, of course, pattern interrupt. Yeah. I love that Moira's told me that how many times, and I'm only just now got it.
It's like, I just celebrate the fact that you got it.
I know.
I know.
Awesome. If I forget it next week, listeners, you can just all laugh at me. I'm sure I'm not going to forget this one now. But we don't know. We don't know.
You never know.
But the pattern interrupt. I've got let going of trying to control.
Yeah.
That's let go of trying to control the situation.
You don't have to know the whole path.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to say those words again. It's the one that got me in the tear. But you're right. You don't have to have it all figured out. Yeah.
But that actually reminds you that you are the boss of you. You don't have to control everything. But being the boss of you means you know when it is time to do something and when it's time to just sort of sit back and go, I'm just going to let this unfold. And see, be the interested observer of how is this going to unfold. I didn't say it out loud, but I did make a note of it when we were going by about this idea is, how does this make me feel about me? Oh, I think that's when you were saying take one strategy and try it out. And so I was then added onto that of, how does this make me feel about me? Try any of these strategies that Deb and I have shared. How does this make me feel about me? Does it make me feel like I've returned to that calm, that well of calmness that's within me?
I think, yes. And, yesterday I managed to get through this, but today I can't. That's okay. Your PIMS is out of order. That's like, go back to the human design blueprint and go, oh, well, that makes sense why I do it that way then. That makes sense why this, and this. I've got you are the boss of you. The one under that I've got is curiosity and compassion. And that's that. That's the chaos may be in your head to go, oh, I don't know if I want to unpack this, but the calmness is actually leaning in and doing it. Go back and everyone wants to be seen, heard, acknowledged. You can go back in and go, what could I do differently that would fill my heart up with love, but also those around me, those who were involved in that conversation or witnessing that or heard about that. And when you can do that, that just shifts. That's a beautiful place to be. It's just a beautiful when you go into that love.
Yep. 100%. The last one I have is the 4 agreements, where we talked about just for today, you're going to be impeccable with your word. Just for today, not going to take anything personal. And that was the important part. That's what actually brought that entire conversation, was taking things personally. And just for today, not going to make an assumption. And just for today, I'm just going to do my best. Remember, like you just said about the, checking in and, I achieved this amount yesterday, and what's wrong with me? I have to achieve it. No, you're doing your best today. You did your best yesterday. It's okay. Yesterday's done. Gone.
Yeah.
Powerful agreements.
5 minutes before's done. Yeah, 5 minutes ago is already gone.
Yeah.
Just for today, just for this meeting, I'm going to be impeccable with my word. I giggle. I was just thinking when you're talking about don't take things personally, I was thinking here I am talking about this pattern interrupt, and you're like, I've told you, like,
Mhm.
or you didn't say it like
I
that.
didn't
You
say
know,
it like that. No.
no, you didn't. No, you definitely didn't say it like that. And people can listen to how she said it. But that's the stuff that could throw you out. If you took that personally,
Yeah.
this whole podcast could be a very different vibe.
Yep.
And I just want to say, that's how you can go from calm to chaos
Mhm.
by just that one thing, because this podcast would have been different if you sat there and went, can't believe I told her that
Yeah.
100 times in the last 2 weeks and she still hasn't heard it. You know, anything like, I know it's ridiculous to even think like that, but that's how quick you can go from we're having a lovely time on our podcast to, oh, she's taken it personally because
Yeah.
finally I've got this new word.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but that's how quick your day can change. Just want
Absolutely.
to emphasize that. So when you feel that or it hits, jump into one of these strategies very flipping quickly, very quickly.
Yep.
But you know we don't like ending this without a little bit of a tea bag, and she's shown me two.
I
We've
got
got
two.
two tea bag quotes here from Yogi. So hit me with them. How to return to calm without losing yourself with our Yogi tea bags.
I think these are really awesome. I can see why these came out.
Oh,
So
I love it already.
master the unknown by knowing your deep self. That just gave me
Oh,
goosebumps. That's
ooh,
return to calm right there. Master
that
the
I've actually
unknown by
got.
knowing your deep self. Yeah, you got
Yeah,
goosebumps too.
yeah, I've got them. They came up. Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then this one's an interesting one. Accept the challenge you are facing. It may become your greatest gift. Mhm.
Oh,
There's a comeback to calm.
I think that one's for me.
It might be. It might be. Accept the challenge you're facing. It may become your greatest gift. I love it. Aren't these great? I have such a big collection of them.
I love them. I can hear that, and I'm like, that's what I live on. Someone actually yesterday when I was out, they said, "What's the quickest way to get rid of stress?" And I said, "Gratitude."
Yeah.
And she went, "Oh, is it?" I said, "That's quickest way to get rid of stress.
Yep.
Quickest way, gratitude." So that's
100%.
just yep. And she was like, "Oh, I expected this big spiel from you." I'm like, "No, gratitude, one word. That's it.
Simple.
I'm a kiss. Keep it super simple." Yeah, exactly. Well, listeners, how to return to calm without losing yourself. And I trust you got some phenomenal golden nuggets
Mhm.
throughout today, because there was some. I go back to these on my notes. I've circled a couple of them just for the record. I haven't crossed them out on my list here.
Awesome.
But just for today, I want everyone to think about this: what landed, what didn't land. And I
Yeah.
want you to think about one thing, and that is, what part of yourself have you been hiding to avoid conflict or judgment? I think that one's for
Perfect.
me too.
That
Yeah,
one's perfect.
yeah. What part of yourself have you been hiding to avoid conflict or judgment?
Love it.
Mm. So just for today,
And
people, you know what you got
and
to
then
do.
apply one of these strategies to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't just go, okay, I've got the part now. What, Deborah? No, it doesn't go like that. And then go one of these strategies we've given you. But thank you, listeners, for the fun conversation of how to return to calm without losing yourself. Thank you,
Mhm.
Moira, for not taking it personally, as I laugh at her for that. But thank you for joining in the conversation. So it was not just a one-sided
Deb just
conversation.
talking to
Yeah, that's
herself.
the one. Yep. And I'm gonna say thank you to my mother, because I'm actually at my parents' house right now, and thank you for my mother to play a large role on this
On this
podcast.
conversation. Thank you, Deb's
Yeah.
mum.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. But thank you, listeners, for showing up, doing this, asking yourself the question, and for evolving. We
Mhm.
are here for you. All you've got to do is reach out. We are here for
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep.
Beautiful conversation. Thank you, dear
Thanks,
Deb.
Moira.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Internet. And we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Yep. Bye.
Thank you for tuning into Deliciously Motivated Mindset with Deborah and Moira, where the mission is to help listeners unlock their full potential and thrive, not just survive. As the episode comes to a close, they trust you've gained some powerful insights. If you haven't already, take a moment to reflect on one key takeaway that you'll apply right away. Before we wrap things up, Deborah and Moira would love to hear from you. Reach out with thoughts, questions, or feedback and drop your favorite tip from today's episode. They're inspired to see how you're putting your insights into action. Thanks for listening, and remember to keep thriving.